Welcome everyone to Intuitive Voices podcast, your safe place to express your truth by connecting to your intuition and practicing the tools to feel better and better in every area of your life. I'm Elena and I'm your guide to help you to travel through your own consciousness and awareness to reconnect to your own power. And today we're going to talk about a global crime and very important subject for me, sexual abuse. So how to overcome sexual abuse, the trauma of sexual abuse, of how to find peace in ourselves and with other after a traumatic experiences, because this happening all around the world in every continent, in different families, school, religion, culture. For some part of the world, it had become a culture. Like I'm in Australia actually, and it become a culture, the sexual abuse. And it's a transgenerational trauma. And if you've been through this traumatic experience, or if you know someone did and you want to do something about it, make it a change, this podcast will help you to reconnect to your own power to do it. Instead of think or just talk about it, we're going to take action and make it happen. So make yourself comfortable and join us, because I have the pleasure today to host and share the voice of Michel Pascal, multi-talented human beings, meditation teacher, singer, composer, photographer, film director, based in America, especially between Los Angeles and New York. And I'm so glad to share with you this medicine voice and to learn more about sexual abuse and what the meaning and how it affects our lives. So welcome to the podcast, Michel.
Thank you, Elena. It's an honor to have this conversation with you because, of course, more than to understand you, I feel you. I like you. I was abused sexually and also psychologically and physically. So physically and psychologically during 18, 20 years. And sexually, it was when I was very, very young. So the first thing that I want to share with you, each case is a special case. Mm-hmm. And I want to share with you in your podcast the experience that I have with the prisoners of Los Angeles since a decade. I bring for the prisoners a new approach of meditation. I come from a monastic life, and I have adapted meditation to our time, because as the prisoners, they say to me all the time, Michel, if you say to us, take a deep breath, you are not respectful. You don't realize how life is difficult. And you must know that most of the prisoners were abused sexually when they were young, and they are abusers also. So it's amazing to see that the program we develop, we have zero suicide. Wow. Zero suicide since a decade. And at the end of every session, we make a survey. We ask to every prisoner, how do you feel? And they say, we feel better, calm, we feel free. And when I say that, you must know, Elena, we develop this program for lifers. Lifers in America means prisoners incarcerated for life. So this is this experience that I am very honored to share with you today. And with
I'm so glad, because I start and I follow your book, the 10 day daily practice, and I just did the exercise and I was feeling so calm. And this is the first time when I practice meditation, but it's actually very powerful. So I'm so glad to connect, and people as well want to know like a little bit more about your journey, because you inspire so much people, even me. I'm from France. I know you're from France as well. And I saw you on Instagram and you inspire me so much just by expressing your voice, sharing your wisdom. And I wanted to, just before we go further, ask if you can talk a little bit about your journey, and how do you find this energy to help other after being sexual abused? Like, what pushed you to do it?
It's a beautiful question, because I will say sometimes we cannot forgive, but we can transcend. We can transform the dark to light. So me, I was born in Paris and in France, and I have the blessing to be born in a family very violent and to be abused all the time. But just close my home, there is a church, and I love to be in the church when there is no people, no mass, nothing. Just to, to have a space where we are in peace. And when I was so young, I realized there is no life without peace. No life without peace. So naturally, when I was a child, I will say I enter in spirituality, and I start to sing on stage. I was 9 years old, and I became a professional singer at 16 in France. And after I came to America to sing with the best jazzman musician. And just to resume your question, when I was a child and I was abused, I was listening all time Earth, Wind and Fire. And it's crazy because many years after, the musician of Earth, Wind and Fire, they play with me.
Yeah, this is amazing, because you just realize the dreams of your inner child, this little boy, and this.
We need to transcend. We need to transcend. We cannot keep the dark. And after I was in my spiritual path, I was living in Himalayas, in Nepal, in a monastery. So since 10 years, I live in America, and I developed a new approach of meditation, because I realize that it's very difficult to meditate by yourself.
Yeah, you can be stuck. This is what happened to me when I first started meditation when I was 17, because I had nobody to talk. I just start on YouTube, but I realized now I was stuck in my trauma because I was by myself, and the power of the community is very important, because otherwise we are in chaos, like meditation.
I think so. Again, each case is very different. Each case is a special case, but in any case, we can transcend, we can transform, but we transform not when we say, oh, I will need to transcend, or no. We transcend when we calm the mind. For me, the main question is, when we are stressed, we active the trauma. I want to develop with you, Elena, and your friends, something very, very unusual that we develop about sexual abuse. And it comes from my friend, Dr. Mario Beauregard and Dr. Gary Schwartz, who are one of the top neuroscientists in the world. They explain that when you have a sexual abuse, it's like when firemen were in September 11, or someone in a traumatic crash. your brain is shaking during a millisecond. Your brain is shaking. So it's not only psychological, it is also a cognitive, a neuronal crash. Suddenly the brain is shaking. So it means that some regions of the brain are injured. It means that some cognitive process, like my friend Deepak Chopra explained, the brain, it's like electric circuit. So when the brain is shaking, or it's like your computer, if you take your laptop, if you shake your laptop very strong, you disconnect some software. Our brain is a laptop, electric circuit, software.
Yeah, it's a program.
It's a program.
Yeah.
So when we are abused sexually, there is a psychological dimension, but there is also the cognitive dimension. It means that the brain is shaking, so some electric circuits are disconnected. Some regions of the brain are injured. So how to restore the cognitive process, how to restore the electric circuit? It is only when we calm the mind. So for me, as a meditation teacher, my only question is, okay, but how to meditate?
Yeah.
Because and for me, this is the main question. And if there is one thing that I learned from the prisoners of Los Angeles, this is the fact that we cannot meditate by ourselves at the beginning. The brain is moving in many directions. And it's funny, I see in America many experts of meditation, but they are so stressed. Where is my meditation if I am not calm?
And I have a question because I have some now teenager start to follow me on social media, and they're sometimes alone, like they can't do with someone how to guide them, because when I was a teenager and I was by myself. There were nobody, like my parents, they didn't want to talk about this or to support me. I couldn't offer a therapist or someone to guide me. So how to help the new generation as well when we are alone?
First, I will say to you, Elena, your podcast is your answer. What you do is an answer. Because just we talk like that, first, a conversation is very important. You say all the time, Elena, I follow you and I love what you post. We must say our truth. Because, of course, when we cannot express the trauma, or when people around us minimize, justify, but it's okay, we can abuse a child. For example, when we say, it's cultural, it's a tradition, we can do what we want with a child. No, when we are like that, it's a passive abuse. So as victim, it's reactive, the trauma, because we feel abandoned a second times. Because, in a sexual abuse, it's extremely painful, the feeling to be abandoned, to be alone. Because when we are abused sexually, we were a toy, a meat, and boom.
Yeah, I was feeling rejection as well. Like
rejection.
Because
Absolutely.
we reject our body. Like we are like, oh, I was feeling shame, guilty. I didn't want to be in my body temple. And I was feeling rejected more. Sometimes not being rejected, but feeling rejected. And now it's getting better and better.
Absolutely. So to reply to your essential question, first, we need to talk. Because when you talk, again, you reconstruct the cognitive process injured in your brain. So to verbalize and to have people who can listen to you, just to listen. It is a first medicine. But of course, it's not enough because we can talk, and the more we talk, the more we can become addicted to our trauma. Because each time we talk, we reactive the mental picture of the trauma. So we reactive in our cells the memory because every cells of our body is connected to the cortex, to the brain. So in every cells of our body, there is the energy of the abuse. So we need to talk, but it's not enough. We need to calm the mind. But the question for me, it's how to calm the mind. We cannot calm the mind. This is the question of today, because again, many people talk about meditation, wellness, etc. Yes, in theory, but you must know, Elena, the duration of concentration of a human being today, it's less than a goldfish in an aquarium.
I can relate to that. I sometimes struggle with focusing.
No, it's not my opinion. This is the research of Microsoft.
Mm.
Microsoft explained that the duration of attention today, it's less than 7 seconds. In person and online, like today, less than 3 seconds. So today, I will say when the brain is running all the time, when we have billion informations in our brain, how can we say to someone stressed, oh, my friend, meditate, take a deep breath? Cannot work. Our world has changed. We forget, but meditation, and I come from a monastic life, it was created in Himalayas 5,000 years ago by yogi. And these yogi, they were living exactly at the opposite of our life. They have no stress. They have no money pressure. I mean, they live in a sort of fantasy of paradise.
I'm very inspired by the ancient life, as I'm into permaculture to create a sustainable agriculture, and they use the tools they used before, and this is like inspire me to create a community like Intuitive Voices, and also
to have a community, it's important, but to talk is not enough. To talk is not enough. Of course, we need relation, we need social life, but it's not enough, because I will say you can have the best friends, the best books, the best teaching, and still you feel alone. Why? Because you miss something that no one can explain. We can say you miss God. If you don't like this word God, you can say you miss the universe, miss Mother Nature, you miss the divine energy. We try to name something that no one can name. So the question for me, the main question of the abuse, it's how can I calm my mind when I am unable to calm my mind? Because the trauma is too much active, I have too much thought, etc. So the answer that we develop with the prisoners, and you can imagine how someone incarcerated in a cell feel alone. You can imagine the level of PTSD. You can imagine the level of suicide tendency. Why? We have 0 suicide. And 100% of the prisoners say we are happy. Why? Because I will say we cannot talk to someone stressed. The person cannot listen. You can repeat, take a breath. As the prisoners say, Michel, if you talk like that, you are not respectful. You project your ancient wellness map in our world. No, we need to adapt the ancient tradition, not to copy-paste the ancient tradition, but to adapt them in our crazy world.
Yeah.
If you copy-paste meditation, when John Kabat-Zinn, 40 years ago, talk about mindfulness, explain to me today how you can say to someone stressed, oh, my friend, be mindful. No way. No way. Is less than a goldfish. It was not the case 40 years ago.
And that can reactivate a trauma as well, because it's my case, but as a child, my mother say, oh, be calm, like relax, stop crying, or like you don't want to express and you feel like, oh, I can't express, then that makes sense.
Elena, this is so important what you say. This is exactly what the prisoners of Los Angeles say to me. They say, Michel, if you say take a deep breath, you don't respect us. You don't listen. You don't realize our life is difficult. So if we cannot talk, what can we do? We can tune the vibration of the person. We can, when we guide meditation, we need a teacher, we need a coach, we need a guide. Like in music, we need a music director to direct the orchestra of our neuron. So we need to have someone who calm our mind just by the vibration of the person. This is what we name in ancient Buddhism the Powa. Powa means the transfusion of consciousness. In Tibetan, Powa, transfusion of consciousness. So all is magnetic field, all is energy. When we guide someone or when we sing, immediately we change the magnetic field. Immediately, it's like a ray of light, a resonance who enter brain of the person. And, Elena, suddenly, he release the tension. This is the key for an abuse. At the moment you release the tension, you feel better. And day by day, year after year, you replace the addiction of the trauma, the cortisol, by the addiction of the peace, the serotonin. So it's a cognitive re-education. We reconstruct the brain. We reconstruct our neurochemical system because we need someone to help us. But of course, the person who guides us in meditation must be what he say. We cannot teach peace if we are not at peace.
Yes, that's true.
Because as a teacher, I will say the more I teach, the more it helps me. I survive. I try to take my life. Because when you discover your sexual abuse, as you know, Elena, it's an atomic bomb.
Yes. And I have a question: how to help people to let go of being abused? Because before, like, I was very control, that I want to control everything. And if you have someone want to control in front of you, how you build again the trust? Yeah, how you build again after trauma? How you build the trust?
Again, when you talk about confidence, when we are abused sexually, the region of the brain associated to the confidence are injured. So your question, Elena, is how to reconstruct the electric circuit of the confidence in the brain.
Yes.
Again, when we calm the mind. At the second we calm the mind, we create new neuron. New neuron. Each new neuron help us for the confidence, help us for the reconstruction. So for me, from my perspective as a survivor of abuse and a teacher for abuse in my case, there is one answer: to calm the mind. And there is one question: how to calm the mind when we cannot calm the mind? When we cannot say to someone, as you were saying, Elena, oh, take a deep breath and come on, shut up. You in my mind, it's very easy to say, yeah, breath, breathe exercise, come on.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
It's very important to know how, because as well, I can breathe. I love breath work. I love meditation. But for example, I have my best friend. He been to Navy and he had a lot of PTSD, and he tried breath work. He can't, like he can focus. And now I know at this time he feel very depressed with suicide thought. And of course, I'm touched by his story, and I want to help, but I don't know how to help, because it's like, if he's like, I don't know, I'm just cold. I can't express, like I can do.
Again, what you explain, Elena, for your friend in the Navy, I know that very well, because the VA in California has decided to develop a program for the VA. So I create a program by video for a lot of VA in many hospitals. A VA who has a PTSD, it is like people abuse sexually. How can I reconstruct? Again, to talk is important, but it's not enough. The question, as you say, how can I help the person? We help the person when we modify the magnetic fields of the person. Make the experience. You cannot talk to your friend. You cannot say, oh, my friend, you have a PTSD, breathe with me, etc. It cannot work.
And that makes sense, because you talk about energy, and this is a beautiful story. I will share in another podcast with him, maybe, but the way we meet, we connect, is because I help him with energy, because I can help people with energy as well. And at that moment, we connect deeply, and he just told me, like, today, yeah, I don't know what you did, but that helped me a lot. Yeah, just the energy, I think. For me, it's energy of love. But yeah, that makes sense.
We forget, but as we learn in a monastic life, meditation, it's not a technique. It's a transmission of energy. We transmute our energy to the person. And when you do that, Elena, if you transmute your profound calming mind to your friend, don't forget, you are the teacher and you are the student.
Yeah.
It will help you. Many people say to me, Michel, as you ask me how you became a girl, etc., I say it was my only way to cure myself. Because the more you teach, the more you share a calming energy, the more it helps ourselves.
This is true. More I give, more I feel as well. And my day is just different when I use for me, it's my gift. When I use my gift to help people, I feel so different, like my energy. is more light. Like I feel it like from the bottom of my heart. Like yeah, that's it. It's serving other, helping, and share. Yeah.
After the question is deeper than that, it's, I will say again, how can we develop our gift, as you say? How can we develop a medicine calming energy? So since 10 years, I work a lot with the prisoners, etc. And but also celebrities, also manager of big company. And you will be surprised, but celebrities sometimes are more incarcerated than a prisoner because they live in a mental prison. So they are
Yeah.
more incarcerated than a guy incarcerated for life in a little cell. If you are interested and with your friends, so next week at Carnegie Hall, where I sing next
Yeah.
Tuesday, we launch, I try to record the best I can to help people, 100 videos about the question how to meditate when we are unable to meditate.
I mean, I want definitely to learn from you and one day come to see you as well perform. Like this is so inspiring as
I
well.
will give, it's interesting what you say about abuse, and it touched me because many people wrote to me on Instagram about abuse when I start to explain my situation. Because usually I don't like to talk about me, but I have lived an experience a few weeks ago, very, very traumatic. And I wanted to share my truth as you share your truth. And million people are in our case. So I decided to create retreat in Colombia, in the jungle, in an amazing ashram to help people to cure the trauma, as I have cured myself, and as I keep going on to cure every day, and as I cure the prisoners of Los Angeles.
This is, I really believe this is the time to talk about it and to, maybe I'm ambitious, but to stop because I can't. I say to myself, stop with me. I don't want one day I have my child being abused or some other child around me be abused or in this world. And this is amazing. I'm so inspired what you share because last year I was in a community in an eco village and there were a pastor. He came every day just to share his wisdom. And I talk about my story and I was struggling alone. And he told me, no worries, Elena, they will talk about it on TV. They will talk about it, no worries, it will come. So this is true. This is happening. And this is amazing. I can connect with you and we can share because this is Tammy. This is amazing. The retreat you organize, the concerts. I can't wait to go to see you and experience that. And yeah, I encourage people to follow you and be inspired. Yeah, this is amazing.
I encourage every people to follow you. Because Elena, what you are doing today with your podcast, this is so important. Elena, if your podcast can help one person,
Yeah.
this is a success.
Yeah,
Just one.
this is
Someone, just one person who could watch your podcast or conversation and say, oh my gosh, I am in this case. I don't know what to do. I don't know. Okay. So again, I want to be very clear to finish our conversation.
Yes.
First, we need to talk. Talk everywhere. Go to the media, go to the social media, talk everywhere. This is unacceptable. And unacceptable when we minimize, when we justify by any tradition. Yeah, you can kiss the lips of a child, that's fine. This is not acceptable. No way, no way, no justification. Talk everywhere you can. Second, reconstruct your life. Reconstruct your brain, because the brain is injured when we have a trauma like that, or a trauma, any sort of PTSD, the region of the brain don't work perfectly. So it's like when people have Alzheimer, for example, some region of the brain are injured. So we are still young, we can reconstruct our brain. So how to reconstruct the brain when we calm the mind? But how to calm the mind again? We cannot do that by ourselves. We must have a teacher. We must have someone, as you do for your friend in the Navy, to calm his mind. And I will say, many people say, oh, Michel, what is the first practice that we can do to calm the mind? I will say to talk quietly. To talk quietly is a medicine. We talk too fast, too fast, too fast. Come on. When I give this example many times, when you go in a Starbucks, in a coffee shop, and you ask, I would like a cappuccino. When you arrive at the Starbucks, talk quietly to the cashier. Hello, I would like a cappuccino with almond milk. To talk quietly, slow down immediately the brain activity. And you never know, maybe the cashier, she was abused sexually, and she keep a lot of suffering in her heart.
Yeah.
Talk quietly is a medicine. So in August, I will post on my social media, but I think it's August 22 to 25th. I will be in Colombia, in the jungle.
Yeah, I will share as well. I will put the links of your social media and
yes, very beautiful ashram to help people for the trauma. How to talk, but how can we calm the mind when we are unable, because it's too much difficult by yourself. So I will say to finish, everyone, we have the responsibility to calm every person that we meet today. This is what you do with your friend for the Navy. You help him to calm the mind. Everyone, we have the responsibility to calm the mind to every person that we will meet today. And I will say every person that you will meet today is your meditation teacher.
Yeah,
every person,
true.
it's an opportunity. Every person that you will meet today, Elena, it's an opportunity to talk quietly, to be more patient, to listen the pain of the person. This is very important. Every situation that we live, every person that we meet is our meditation teacher.
That's true. And this moment is a meditation.
Exactly.
That is so good.
And to finish, I can do something special in your podcast.
Yes.
For all the kids abused, next week at Carnegie Hall, I will sing Ave Maria.
Yes.
A cappella. I can sing for you for your podcast a
Oh,
few
yes,
seconds.
thank you.
Say thank you, Elena, for all you do. You are an amazing person.
Thank
We
you
are
so much.
million kids abused. We must talk and we must help.
Yeah, I pray it stops with us and we're going to express, show up into this world, even if it's a crazy world, because we deserve to express and to be there for each other. This is so beautiful. This means a lot for me, and yeah, thank you so much. And please follow Michel, and if you need support, we are here for you. You are loved, and you're worthy to receive this love and to feel this love and to spread this love.